The chickens have come home to roost, and the left approaches meltdown. This week, Attorney General William Barr, a respected veteran of the Justice Department who seeks neither fame nor fortune from this position as Attorney General, appeared before Congress. In a straight-talking, no-nonsense response to the loony liberal left circus, he stated in no uncertain terms,
"Spying on a political campaign is a big deal. I think spying did occur. Yes, I think spying did occur."
The left went into meltdown stage, doing everything they could to trash Barr. The esteemed former director of the National Intelligence, Clueless Clapper, in response to the spying statement, said this.
Well, I thought it was both stunning and scary. I was amazed at that and rather disappointed that the Attorney General would say such a thing.
Their fear of the truth began an all-out attack on Barr's credibility because Barr has made it clear that he wants to be sure that there was no unauthorized surveillance during the 2016 presidential campaign, and added, quote, "I believe there is basis for my concern about unauthorized surveillance." This, my friends, is what they fear and what they have tried to prevent us from finding out. How did the counterintelligence investigation begin? When did it begin? Who did they speak to start it? And might it have been nothing more than a bunch of Trump haters trying to stop the man we put in the Oval? Now, you remember Peter Strzok. When he testified before Congress, he refused to tell Congress what began the counterintelligence investigation or when it began, saying it was an ongoing investigation and he couldn't discuss it. And when he was given permission to discuss it, he said he couldn't recall. So in come the old reliables, Schumer and Pelosi, to trash Attorney General Barr, who holds in his hands the actual scales of justice and who owes no allegiance to this clique of insiders who think they are better than the rest of us.
Let me just say how very, very dismaying and disappointing that the chief law enforcement officer of our country is going off the rails.
Instead of giving straight answers, Mr. Barr seems to be nothing more than a spokesperson for the president's campaign. He seems more like the president's press secretary than the attorney general.
But my favorite is Jim Comey.
I really don't know what he's talking about when he talks about spying on the campaign. When I hear that kind of language used, it's concerning because the FBI and the Department of Justice conduct court-ordered electronic surveillance.
Jim, it's not like anyone believes a word of what you say anyway. But almost a year ago, when asked if it was possible that there was a spy inserted in the Trump campaign, you smirked and said, "I don't find it possible, and I know it not to be true." You lying, pretentious, disingenuous political hack. You know it to be true because you signed 3 of the affidavits for the warrant. And the word spy is actually used in the application. You used Hillary Clinton's fake dossier to take down Donald Trump when you had an obligation to certify to the court before it approves a FISA warrant that the evidence is verified and to alert judges to flaws in the evidence, like the fake dossier. But you did none of this. And not, Jim, that I want to rehash this, but you knew that Christopher Steele was talking to the press. The excuse that you used to fire him, but you actually used the press he talked to support the application for the warrant. And even you admit the warrant, the dossier that you relied on, was unverified. And you didn't brief presidential candidate Donald Trump the way you would brief any other politician that there might be a foreign agent attempting to influence his campaign. Hell, the FBI even told Dianne Feinstein that her driver of 20 years was a Chinese operative. And everybody knows you're supposed to do it. It's just the way things are done. But your game plan was to keep Trump in the dark. Leak information to the New York Times, which information was classified, in order to get a special counsel assigned. You were successful in your attempt to get a special counsel, and he blocked questions as to when the counterintelligence investigation began. Your pals got good old Jeff Sessions to recuse himself, and Rod Rosenstein kept it all together, discussing the wiretap on the president and the exercise as well of the 25th Amendment to get him out. Jim, don't act so pompous, saying we don't spy, that the word should be a human source, and act like you didn't do what you did. And I don't care if you call it a spy, a human source, an intelligence seeker, gatherer, or a ghost. A spy is a spy. And a rose by any other name is still a rose. And by the way, in that first application that you signed, it says that not only do foreign powers engage in spying in the U.S. to obtain information, but that Russia has tried to influence elections since the 1960s. I'll bet you never tried to wiretap Barack Obama's campaign. You couldn't get Barr to recuse himself, and your liberal friends couldn't either. So the liberal wacko circus will attempt to destroy him. I got news for you. That's never going to happen. The days of no accountability and no consequence are over. Jim, history will not look kindly on you. Bill Barr is everything you are not. A quiet professional, someone who understands that Lady Justice is blindfolded for a reason. The days of lies and cover-ups are over. Enjoy your freedom, Jim, while you've got it. And that's my open. Let me know what you think on my Facebook and Twitter. #Judge Jeanine.
Breaking news on the Mueller report. We have just learned that we will see it on Thursday morning. We are learning from the Justice Department that this will be a redacted release to Congress and to the public. What will they redact? We have some thoughts and some reporting on grand jury testimony per the rules and regulations. And then those other 3 lanes, classified and such, that Attorney General William Barr has been laying out all along. Redactions along those lines. And it won't just be Congress. It'll be the public that gets to see what he releases Thursday morning. A big week. This news breaking now. Let's talk about this on Outnumbered. Thank you for watching, everybody. So we have Brian Brinberg, who is visiting with us today in the center seat. What do you think about this news?
Well, it's nice to know when it's going to come out. I mean, now we have a timeline. People are preparing and preparing.
What do we need to do to prepare to get the truth?
Well, it's actually funny. I mean, how are you going to read it? You've got 400 pages. One person going to read it cover to cover. You're going to have people. Yeah,
Melissa,
right.
You want to take the first 50? I'll take the next 50.
But I mean, this is the point. You're going to have a team of people reading it, and they're going to say, "Oop, found something here." Where does that go? It goes to Twitter. So we're going to get all these early rounds of reporting on bits.
Go like that?
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, it is going to be.
People are never going to be able to resist, like, kind of throwing the piece out, which is why I'm not sure you want to listen to a lot of commentary, maybe until 2-3 days later, once somebody's actually gone through cover to cover.
That'll be Easter Sunday, so maybe not.
There's better things to do Easter Sunday. There are better things to celebrate
Talk
Easter
about,
Sunday.
dinner conversation, right?
Oh, no. My question for you, Capri Cafaro, not that you're the only Democrat we know, but you're the only one on the couch today. And can't speak for everybody, but you've been saying all along, let's just get the truth out there and let the chips fall where they may. If this does not further show, the Mueller report redacted, that there should be any more indictments or anything else coming legally against the president, his campaign team, or anybody else, is this the point, like Frozen style, Democrats let it go?
It's not going to happen. I mean, I wish it would, because I think we have so many issues that we need to address, whether they are, issues of health care, immigration. There are real issues that Congress needs to take up. That's not to say that they do not have, a constitutional authority and duty for oversight. Those things are important. But I think that because we're approaching, a presidential election cycle, we're already in the midst of that. I think that politics, unfortunately, is going to reign the day. on both sides, because, on one hand, we're going to see Democrats, for example, pursuing things like the tax returns or the emoluments clause. And then on the flip side, you have the Republicans saying we want to investigate everybody else, and get to the bottom of...
They don't want to investigate everybody else. They want to know how this report started. They want to make sure that if Americans are facing the long arm and strong arm of the law, that they're treated fairly. And if there was something nefarious that kicked off that anti-Trump dossier or the FISA situation...
And the American people need to know that,
exactly.
too.
So it's not that Republicans are investigating everybody else. I just fact-check you on that.
I mean, fair, but I guess my point is this, is that, you're going to end up seeing investigations continuing from both Democrats and Republicans.
So it's kind of status quo.
Yeah.
Kennedy?
I think Brian's actually right. I think it's going to be a race for everyone to get their hot take out. The risk there is that you end up with misinformation like Jussie Smollett and the Covington Catholic High School case. Nick Sandmann, and that reporting, that insta hot take reporting can be very dangerous. So I think people are best to sit down and read the thing themselves. There will be plenty of PDFs. Don't waste.
So
all
you
that
know what you're talking about? You're talking about where we are right now, which is a really sad state of affairs. Because I don't have a problem with insta hot reporting. We call it breaking news. What I have a problem with is insta hot reporting through 99 prisms that don't resemble the truth.
Right. Absolutely right.
And what about, why wasn't this in Barr's initial report? Look at this here. Where was that? And why was
Does
Barr
Adam Schiff show us the evidence that nobody else on the planet has ever seen of collusion yet? That we know of. I mean, maybe it's in the report and William Barr missed it. I don't know. But all along he said that there is evidence of collusion.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet it solves absolutely nothing. If Judge Anna Napolitano is right that 25% of the 400 pages or anything close to that is redacted, then everybody will be sure that what they need to see is underneath the black.
That's exactly the problem. And that's exactly the problem.